Welcome back to the channel The Coin Empire, where we explore the most fascinating, mysterious, and incredibly valuable coins in the world, and today's story is one that will truly surprise you because we are diving deep into the unbelievable tale of the 2017 P1 cent USA coin that has been rumored and discussed among collectors as potentially being worth an astonishing $132 million due to a combination of extremely rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique possibilities that could transform an ordinary-looking penny into one of the most valuable coins ever imagined. And as we begin this journey, it's important to understand that at first glance the 2017 P penny looks completely normal. It carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the Union Shield design on the reverse, which was introduced in 2010, and the P mint mark indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, something that in itself was notable because 2017 was the first year that Philadelphia pennies ever carried a mint mark to celebrate the 225th anniversary of the United States Mint, making even regular coins from this year slightly more collectible than usual. But what turns this coin from a simple collectible into a potential multi-million-dollar treasure lies in the rare and almost unbelievable errors that could occur during the minting process. And one of the most talked about possibilities is the presence of a double die error where the design elements such as the date, the word Liberty, or the inscriptions appear double due to a misalignment in the die used to strike the coin, and if such doubling is extremely strong and clearly visible without magnification, it can significantly increase the coin's value, especially when combined with other rare factors. And then there is the possibility of a misaligned die strike where one side of the coin is properly centered while the other is off-center, creating a dramatic visual effect that collectors find highly desirable. And in some extremely rare cases, coins can be struck on the wrong planchet, meaning a penny design might appear on a blank intended for another denomination such as a dime or even a foreign coin, instantly making it a unique error that could fetch enormous amounts of money at auction. And another fascinating error that could push the value of a 2017 P penny into the realm of millions is the presence of a transitional metal composition mistake, where the coin is struck using a metal composition that was not intended for that year. Although modern pennies are primarily made of zinc with a thin copper plating, any deviation from this standard composition could create a one-of-a-kind rarity, and beyond these physical minting errors there is also the condition of the coin to consider. Because a coin graded at the highest levels such as MS-69 or MS-70 by professional grading services is exceptionally rare, and when a coin combines near-perfect condition with dramatic and unique errors, its value can skyrocket to unimaginable levels. And some collectors speculate that a perfect storm of errors such as a double die obverse, an off-center strike, and a wrong planchet could theoretically create a coin so unique that it becomes priceless in the eyes of elite collectors, driving its value into the tens or even hundreds of millions. And while such a price tag may sound unbelievable, it reflects the passion and intensity of the rare coin market, where collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for items that are truly one of a kind. And it's also important to consider the historical significance of the 2017 P penny, as it marks a special moment in the history of the United States Mint, adding another layer of desirability to any coin from this year. And when you combine history, rarity, condition, and era characteristics, you begin to understand how a simple penny could be elevated to legendary status, and stories like this inspire collectors around the world to carefully examine their pocket change in the hope of discovering a hidden treasure. Because the truth is that many valuable coins have been found in circulation by ordinary people who simply took the time to look closely, and even though the chances of finding a $132 million penny are incredibly small, the excitement and possibility keep the hobby alive and thriving. And as you search your own coins, it's important to pay attention to details such as unusual thickness, strange coloration, misprints, or anything that looks out of the ordinary, because these small clues could indicate a rare error. And using a magnifying glass or coin microscope can help reveal details that are not visible to the naked eye. And if you believe you have found something special, it's always a good idea to have it evaluated by a professional grading service to confirm its authenticity and determine its value. And as we continue to explore the world of rare coins here on the Coin Empire, remember that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can be worth far more than anyone could ever imagine. So keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, the next time you check your pocket change you might just discover a coin that changes your life forever. Because in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest piece of metal can hold the greatest value when the right combination of errors, history, and rarity come together in a way that captures the imagination of collectors. across the globe. Next, 2011 D1 cent coin. Today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable and fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that sounds almost too incredible to be true yet continues to capture the imagination of collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people who suddenly start checking their loose change with a new sense of excitement. Because we are talking about the mysterious 2011 D1 cent coin that has been rumored and discussed as being worth an astonishing $128 million, and while at first glance it may look like an ordinary penny that you could find in your pocket or lying unnoticed in a drawer, the truth behind its potential value lies in a combination of extremely rare minting errors, production anomalies, and highly unusual circumstances that could transform this simple copper-plated coin into one of the most valuable coins ever imagined. And as we explore this topic, it is important to understand that coins gain extraordinary value not simply because they are old or shiny, but because they carry unique characteristics that set them apart from millions or even billions of others produced in the same year, and the 2011 D penny is particularly intriguing because it was minted at the Denver Mint during a time when modern minting technology was already highly advanced, making significant errors extremely rare and therefore incredibly valuable when they do occur, and one of the most talked about possibilities that could make this coin worth such a staggering amount is the presence of a dramatic off-metal strike, which means the coin was struck on a planchet intended for a completely different denomination or even a different country, creating a mismatch between design and composition that collectors find irresistible. Imagine a 2011 D penny struck on a dime planchet or even a foreign blank, instantly creating a one-of-a-kind error that would attract global attention, and when such an error is combined with other factors like a double die obverse, where the design elements appear duplicated due to misalignment during the die creation process, the rarity multiplies significantly, and collectors know that true double die errors, especially in modern coins, are extremely scarce and can command enormous premiums. But the possibilities do not stop there because another potential factor contributing to this coin's mythical value is the occurrence of a wrong mint mark or a misplaced mint mark, although mint marks are typically part of the die and not punched separately in modern coins. Any anomaly involving the D mint mark appearing in an unusual position or showing signs of duplication could create a frenzy among collectors. And then there is the concept of a mule error, one of the rarest and most fascinating types of minting mistakes, where two dies that were never meant to be paired are accidentally used together, resulting in a coin that features mismatched designs, such as a penny obverse paired with a completely different reverse. And if a 2011 D penny were discovered with such a mule error, it would instantly become a historic piece, potentially justifying an astronomical valuation depending on its uniqueness and condition. And speaking of condition, it is crucial to understand that the state of preservation plays a massive role in determining a coin's value, because even the rarest error can lose significant worth if it is heavily worn or damaged, while a coin in pristine, uncirculated condition with sharp details and original luster can see its value skyrocket. And this is where grading services come into play, assigning numerical grades that help standardize value across the market. And a hypothetical 2011 D error coin graded at the highest levels, such as MS68 or MS69, would be exponentially more valuable than a lower grade example, especially if it is the only one of its kind known to exist. And rarity combined with condition is a powerful formula that drives collectors to pay extraordinary sums. But beyond technical errors, there are also mysterious stories and rumors that contribute to the legend of such coins, including the idea that a small number of experimental planchets or test strikes may have been accidentally released into circulation, creating coins that were never meant to leave the mint. And if such a piece were to surface, its historical significance alone could justify an immense price, especially if it could be authenticated and traced back to a specific minting anomaly. And authentication is another critical aspect because the world of rare coins is unfortunately filled with counterfeits and altered pieces, making it essential for any potentially valuable coin to be examined by reputable experts who can verify its authenticity, composition, and origin. And without proper authentication, even the most convincing error coin would struggle to achieve high value. But when a coin passes all these tests and is confirmed to be genuine, unique, and historically significant, it can become the centerpiece of major auctions where wealthy collectors and investors compete fiercely to own a piece of numismatic history, driving prices to levels that seem almost unbelievable. And this brings us back to the idea of the $128 million valuation, which, while extremely speculative, reflects the kind of hype and fascination that surrounds ultra-rare coins, especially in an age where viral stories and social media can amplify interest and create a sense of treasure hunting excitement among the public, encouraging people to search through their change jars and piggy banks in hopes of discovering a hidden fortune. And even though the chances of finding such a coin are incredibly slim, the possibility itself adds a sense of wonder and adventure to everyday life, reminding us that sometimes extraordinary value can be hidden in the most ordinary places. And this is one of the reasons why coin collecting continues to captivate people across generations, because it combines history, art, science, and the thrill of discovery into a single hobby, and every coin tells a story, not just of its design and origin, but of the journey it has taken through countless hands over the years, and in the case of error coins, that story becomes even more compelling because it includes the moment of imperfection that turned a routine object into something extraordinary. And as we consider the 2011 penny and its potential for immense value, it is also worth exploring the broader context of modern coin errors and how they occur, despite advanced technology, because even the most sophisticated systems are not immune to human oversight, mechanical failure, or unexpected anomalies, and these rare moments of imperfection are what create opportunities for collectors to find something truly unique. And while most coins are produced with remarkable precision and uniformity, the few that deviate from the norm become highly sought after. Especially when those deviations are dramatic and easily visible, such as significant off-center strikes, broad strikes where the coin is struck without a retaining collar, or dramatic die cracks that create unusual patterns on the surface, and each type of error has its own appeal and rarity level, contributing to the overall fascination with error coins. And when multiple errors appear on the same coin, the value can increase exponentially, creating what collectors often refer to as a perfect storm of rarity, and it is this combination of factors that fuels the legend of the 2011 penny being worth millions, because the more unique and unexplained the error, the more collectors are willing to pay to own it. And beyond the technical aspects, there is also a psychological element at play, where the idea of finding a life-changing coin in everyday circulation taps into a universal desire for discovery and sudden fortune, making stories like this incredibly compelling and widely shared. And even if the specific valuation of $128 million is more myth than reality, it serves as a powerful reminder of the potential hidden within ordinary objects, encouraging people to pay closer attention to the details that others might overlook, and in doing so, it keeps the spirit of coin collecting alive and thriving, as new generations become curious about the coins they encounter and begin to explore the rich world of numismatics, learning about mint marks, die varieties, historical context, and the many factors that influence value. And as they do, they may not find a $128 million penny, but they will gain a deeper appreciation for the artistry and history embedded in each coin, and who knows, they might still stumble upon a rare error that turns out to be worth far more than its face value, proving that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest surprises. And that is what makes the story of the 2011 1-cent coin so captivating, because it blurs the line between reality and possibility, inviting us to imagine a world where a simple penny could change a life forever. And whether or not such a coin truly exists, the excitement it generates is very real, inspiring collectors and dreamers alike to keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that treasure might be closer than they think, right there in the palm of their hand. Next, 1973 1-cent coin. Today we are stepping into another astonishing and mind-blowing story from the world of rare coins, a story that has fascinated collectors, sparked debates, and inspired everyday people to take a closer look at the pennies in their pockets, because what if one of those ordinary-looking coins could actually be worth an unbelievable $125 million? And that is exactly the legend and possibility surrounding the mysterious 1973 1-cent United States coin, a coin that at first glance appears completely normal yet hides within it the potential for extraordinary value due to a combination of rare minting errors, production anomalies, historical quirks, and collector demand that can elevate even the smallest imperfection into a life-changing treasure. And to truly understand how such a seemingly simple coin could reach such an incredible valuation, we need to explore the fascinating world of mint errors and the unique circumstances that can transform a standard penny into one of the most valuable coins ever imagined. starting with the fact that the 1973 penny was minted during a time when billions of coins were being produced annually, meaning that any deviation from the norm becomes instantly significant because it stands out among a massive population of otherwise identical coins. And one of the most important and highly sought-after types of errors that could exist on a 1973 penny is the famous double die error, where the design is accidentally duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process, resulting in noticeable doubling on elements like the date, lettering, or the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. And while minor doubling can sometimes be overlooked, a strong and dramatic double die can be incredibly rare and valuable, especially if it is clearly visible without magnification, making it highly desirable among collectors who are always searching for distinctive and easily recognizable errors. And if such a double die were discovered on a 1973 penny in pristine condition, its value could already be significant, but when combined with other rare features, the potential price could skyrocket to unimaginable levels. And another possibility that adds to the intrigue of this coin is the chance of an off-metal strike, where the coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or even a different metal composition. For example, a 1973 penny struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin blank, which would create a dramatic mismatch in size, weight, and appearance, instantly making it a one-of-a-kind error that would attract intense interest from collectors and investors around the world. And such off-metal errors are incredibly rare because modern minting processes are designed to prevent exactly this kind of mistake, meaning that when one does occur, it becomes a highly prized anomaly that can command extraordinary prices at auction. And then there is the fascinating concept of a mule error, one of the rarest and most mysterious types of minting mistakes, where two dies that were never meant to be paired are accidentally used together, resulting in a coin with mismatched designs, such as a penny obverse combined with a reverse from a completely different denomination. And if a 1973 penny were ever discovered with such a mule error, it would instantly become a historic and potentially priceless artifact. Because mule errors are so rare that only a handful are known to exist across all coin series, making them some of the most sought-after pieces in the entire field of numismatics. And beyond these dramatic errors, there are also other types of anomalies that can contribute to a coin's value, including off-center strikes where the design is misaligned and partially missing, clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is missing due to a defect in the metal blank, and broad strikes where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing it to spread out and lose its normal shape. Each of these errors adds a layer of uniqueness and rarity that can increase a coin's desirability, especially when the error is large and visually striking, because collectors are often drawn to coins that clearly display their unusual characteristics, making them easy to identify and showcase. And another important factor that could contribute to the legendary value of a 1973 penny is the possibility of experimental or transitional compositions, as the early 1970s were a period of change and experimentation in coin production due to rising metal costs. And while the composition of the penny remained primarily copper during this time, there is always the possibility that a small number of experimental planchets or test strikes could have been produced and accidentally released into circulation, creating coins that differ from the standard composition and are therefore extremely rare and valuable. And if such a coin were discovered and authenticated, it could easily become one of the most important finds in modern coin collecting history. And authentication is a crucial step in determining the true value of any rare coin, because without proper verification by experts, even the most convincing error could be dismissed as a counterfeit or alteration. And reputable grading services play a vital role in this process, carefully examining the coin's characteristics, composition, and condition to ensure that it is genuine and accurately described. And once a coin is authenticated and graded, its value becomes more widely recognized and accepted within the market, allowing it to be bought and sold with confidence among collectors and investors. And condition is another critical factor that can dramatically influence a coin's value, because even the rarest error will not reach its full potential if it is heavily worn or damaged, while a coin in uncirculated condition with sharp details and original luster can command a much higher price. And grading scales help standardize this aspect by assigning numerical values based on the coin's state of preservation, with higher grades indicating better condition and therefore greater value. And a hypothetical 1973 error penny graded at the highest levels would be significantly more valuable than a similar coin in lower condition, especially if it is the only known example of its kind. And this combination of rarity, condition, and demand is what drives the extraordinary prices seen in the world of rare coins, where collectors are willing to pay enormous sums to own a piece of history that is truly unique. And beyond the technical aspects, there is also a powerful psychological element that contributes to the fascination with coins like the 1973 penny, because the idea that a small, everyday object could hold such immense value captures the imagination and inspires people to search through their change with a sense of excitement and possibility, and this sense of discovery is one of the key reasons why coin collecting remains such a popular and enduring hobby, as it offers the chance to uncover hidden treasures and learn about history in a tangible and engaging way, and stories of incredibly valuable coins often spread quickly, fueling interest and encouraging more people to get involved, even if the chances of finding such a coin are extremely slim, because the possibility itself is enough to spark curiosity and keep the search alive, and as more people become interested in coins, the demand for rare and unusual pieces continues to grow, further increasing their value and reinforcing the cycle of fascination and discovery, and this is how legends like the 1973 penny valued at $125 million are born, blending real numismatic principles with a touch of mystery and speculation to create a story that captures the imagination and keeps collectors searching for that one extraordinary find. And while it is important to approach such claims with a degree of skepticism and rely on verified information when determining value, there is no denying the excitement and inspiration that these stories provide, reminding us that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary potential. And as you continue your journey in the world of coin collecting, whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting out, remember to pay attention to the details, learn about the different types of errors and variations, and most importantly, enjoy the process of discovery. Because every coin has a story to tell, and who knows, you might just come across a piece that turns out to be far more valuable than you ever imagined, and that is the magic of coin collecting, where history, art, and the thrill of the hunt come together to create an experience that is both educational and endlessly exciting, keeping the spirit of exploration alive with every coin you examine and every new discovery you make. Next, 1985 1-cent coin. Today we are uncovering yet another jaw-dropping story from the fascinating world of coin collecting, a story that transforms an everyday object into something extraordinary and almost unbelievable, because we are talking about the mysterious 1985 1-cent United States coin that has been associated with a staggering value of up to $120 million. And while at first glance it might seem impossible that a simple penny could ever reach such a price, the truth lies in the hidden world of minting errors, production anomalies, and extremely rare circumstances that can turn a common coin into a one-of-a-kind treasure. And to fully understand how this could happen, we need to explore the unique features and possibilities that could make a 1985 penny so valuable, starting with the fact that 1985 was a year when billions of pennies were produced, meaning that any unusual variation instantly becomes significant because it stands out among a massive population of otherwise identical coins, and rarity is one of the most important factors in determining a coin's value, because collectors are always searching for pieces that are different, unique, and difficult to find, and when a coin combines rarity with dramatic visual errors and historical intrigue, its value can increase beyond imagination. And one of the most important possibilities that could make a 1985 penny worth such an incredible amount is the presence of a major double die error, where the design elements are duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process, resulting in noticeable doubling on the date, lettering, or even the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. And while minor doubling can occur on many coins, a strong and clearly visible double die is extremely rare, especially in modern coins, making it highly desirable among collectors. And if such a coin were discovered in near-perfect condition, its value could already reach impressive levels, but when combined with additional rare errors, the potential price could skyrocket into the realm of legends. And another major factor that could contribute to the extraordinary value of a 1985 penny is the possibility of an off-metal strike, which occurs when a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or even a different metal composition, for example a penny struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin blank, creating a dramatic difference in size, weight, and appearance, and such errors are incredibly rare because modern minting processes are designed to prevent them, meaning that when they do occur, they become highly prized anomalies that can command enormous premiums, and collectors are particularly fascinated by off-metal errors because they represent a clear and undeniable mistake that cannot easily be replicated. adding to their authenticity and appeal, and beyond that there is also the possibility of a mule error, one of the rarest and most intriguing types of minting mistakes, where two dies that were never meant to be used together are accidentally paired, resulting in a coin with mismatched designs, such as a penny obverse combined with a reverse from another denomination, and if a 1985 penny were ever found with such a mule error, it would instantly become a historic discovery, potentially justifying an astronomical valuation due to its uniqueness and significance. And while mule errors are extremely rare, their existence proves that even the most unlikely mistakes can happen, especially in complex industrial processes like coin production, and then there are other types of errors that can add to a coin's value, such as off-center strikes where the design is misaligned and partially missing, clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is missing due to a defect in the metal blank, and broad strikes where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing it to expand beyond its normal shape. Each of these errors creates a unique appearance that can make a coin highly desirable, especially when the error is large and visually striking, and when multiple errors appear on the same coin, the rarity increases even further, creating what collectors often consider a perfect storm of uniqueness, and this combination of factors is what fuels the legend of the 1985 penny being worth millions, because the more unusual and unexplained the error, the more collectors are willing to pay to own it, and another important aspect to consider is the possibility of transitional or experimental compositions, as the 1980s were a time when the United States Mint was adjusting to changes in metal costs and production methods, and while the standard composition of pennies after 1982 was primarily zinc with a thin copper plating, there is always the possibility that a small number of coins were struck on leftover copper planchets or experimental blanks, creating coins that differ from the standard composition and are therefore extremely rare, and if such a coin were discovered and authenticated, it could become one of the most important finds in modern numismatics, especially if it also featured additional errors, and authentication is a crucial step in determining the true value of any rare coin, because without proper verification by experts, even the most convincing piece could be dismissed as a counterfeit or alteration. And reputable grading services play a key role in this process, carefully examining the coin's characteristics, composition, and condition to ensure that it is genuine and accurately described. And once a coin is authenticated and graded, its value becomes more widely recognized within the market, allowing collectors and investors to confidently bid on it at auctions, and condition is another critical factor that can dramatically influence a coin's value, because even the rarest error will not reach its full potential if it is heavily worn or damaged, while a coin in uncirculated condition with sharp details and original luster can command a much higher price, and grading scales help standardize this aspect by assigning numerical values based on the coin's state of preservation, with higher grades indicating better condition and therefore greater value, and a hypothetical 1985 error penny graded at the highest levels would be significantly more valuable than a similar coin in lower condition, especially if it is the only known example of its kind, and beyond the technical aspects, there is also a powerful psychological element that contributes to the fascination with coins like the 1985 penny, because the idea that a small and seemingly insignificant object could hold such immense value captures the imagination and inspires people to search through their change with a sense of excitement and possibility, and this sense of discovery is one of the key reasons why coin collecting remains such a popular hobby, as it offers the chance to uncover hidden treasures and learn about history in a tangible and engaging way, and stories of incredibly valuable coins often spread quickly, fueling interest and encouraging more people to get involved, even if the chances of finding such a coin are extremely slim, because the possibility itself is enough to spark curiosity and keep the search alive, and as more people become interested in coins, the demand for rare and unusual pieces continues to grow, further increasing their value and reinforcing the cycle of fascination and discovery. And this is how legends like the 1985 penny valued at $120 million come to life, blending real numismatic principles with a sense of mystery and speculation to create a narrative that captures attention and inspires exploration. And while it is important to approach such claims with a degree of realism and rely on verified information when determining value, there is no denying the excitement that these stories bring, reminding us that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary potential. And as you continue exploring the world of coins, whether you are an experienced collector or just starting out, remember to pay close attention to details, learn about the different types of errors and variations, and most importantly enjoy the journey of discovery, because every coin has a story, and sometimes those stories can lead to incredible surprises that make the hunt worthwhile, and who knows, the next time you come across a simple penny, it might just be worth far more than you ever imagined, making the ordinary truly extraordinary and turning a small piece of metal into a life-changing treasure that continues to inspire collectors around the world to keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing in the hidden value that might be waiting to be discovered. Last 1970 1-cent coin. Today we are diving deep into another unbelievable and highly discussed story from the world of rare coins, a story that sounds almost impossible at first but continues to circulate among collectors and enthusiasts who are fascinated by the idea that even the smallest coin in your pocket could hold a hidden fortune. Because today we are talking about the legendary and widely speculated 1970 1-cent United States coin that has been associated in collector discussions and rumor-based valuation theories with an astonishing figure of up to $115 million due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and rare conditions that, if all aligned in a single specimen, could theoretically create one of the most valuable pennies ever imagined. And while it is extremely important to understand that such valuations are highly speculative and not confirmed by any official auction record, the fascination around this coin comes from the possibilities of what could have gone wrong during the minting process at a time when billions of coins were being struck under high-speed production conditions at the Denver Mint, and in the world of numismatics it is often these rare mistakes rather than perfect strikes that create the highest value because collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying uniqueness, rarity, and historical error narratives that cannot be replicated. And the 1970 penny is especially interesting because it was produced during a transitional era in U.S. coinage where minting technology was advanced but still not immune to human error, mechanical misalignment, die fatigue, and planchet inconsistencies, and one of the most significant theoretical reasons this coin could reach such a massive valuation is the possibility of a dramatic double die obverse error where the design of Abraham Lincoln, the inscriptions, or the date itself appears visibly double due to a misalignment during the hubbing process of the die, and in a strong double die example the doubling is not microscopic but clearly visible to the naked eye, creating a striking visual anomaly that instantly separates the coin from normal circulation pieces, and if a 1970 penny were discovered with an exceptionally strong and dramatic double die combined with pristine uncirculated condition, it would already be considered extremely valuable in collector markets, but the hypothetical scenario that pushes the valuation into legendary territory involves multiple rare errors occurring simultaneously on the same coin, such as a double die combined with an off-center strike where the coin was not properly centered during the striking process causing part of the design to be missing and the rest shifted dramatically to one side, creating a visually dramatic and highly collectible error that immediately signals rarity. And when these types of minting mistakes stack together the uniqueness increases exponentially because the probability of multiple independent errors occurring on the same coin is extremely low, and another factor that could contribute to the mythological valuation of the 1970 penny is the possibility of an off-metal strike where the coin was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or even a foreign blank, which would create a mismatch in size, weight, and sometimes color composition, making the coin instantly recognizable as an error even without expert tools, and off-metal strikes are among the most desirable mint errors because they represent a clear failure in the mint's planchet feeding system, and in rare cases where such an error is combined with a double die or off-center strike, the value increases dramatically because collectors view it as a once-in-history type of mistake. And then there is the possibility of a broad strike error where the coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally keeps its shape uniform, causing the metal to spread outward and create a larger, thinner coin with distorted edge characteristics, and broad strikes are already collectible on their own, but when paired with other anomalies they become even more significant in terms of rarity. And another fascinating theoretical contributor to the $115 million valuation idea is the presence of die clashes where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint impressions of one side on the other side of the coin, creating ghost-like mirror images that are highly sought after by collectors who enjoy dramatic minting mistakes. And if a 1970 penny were to show severe die clash patterns combined with other major errors it would become an extreme rarity in the numismatic world. And beyond these mechanical errors there is also the concept of transitional or experimental planchets which sometimes occur when the mint is testing different metal compositions or accidentally uses leftover blanks from previous production years, and although the 1970 penny series is known for being copper-based, the idea of a transitional strike on an incorrect composition still excites collectors because it introduces the possibility of a coin that does not match official specifications, and such anomalies are often the foundation for high-value discoveries in modern numismatics, especially when authenticated and verified as genuine mint origin errors, and authentication itself is one of the most important factors in determining value because without proper grading and certification from recognized experts a coin's legitimacy remains uncertain, and professional grading services examine every detail including weight, diameter, strike quality, die markers, and metal composition to confirm whether the coin is truly an error or simply post-mint damage. And only after passing these strict examinations can a coin enter the high-end collector market where values can reach extraordinary levels based on rarity and demand, and condition plays an equally important role because even the rarest error coin will lose significant value if it is heavily circulated, scratched, or corroded, while a coin in mint state condition with sharp details and original luster can command exponentially higher prices. And grading scales typically measure this from lower circulated grades to high mint state grades where even a single point difference can dramatically affect market value, and in the hypothetical case of the 1970 penny valued at $115 million, it would have to exist in an almost perfect state of preservation combined with multiple extreme mint errors that are independently verified and visually dramatic, and this combination of perfection and imperfection is what drives the imagination of collectors and investors alike. Because the idea that something so small and ordinary could contain so many rare mistakes at once feels almost impossible yet theoretically fascinating, and this is where the psychology of collecting plays a major role because coin collectors are not just analyzing metal objects but also chasing stories, history, and the thrill of discovery, and coins like the 1970 penny become legendary not only for what they are but for what they represent, which is the possibility of hidden value in everyday life. And this belief fuels a global community of people who carefully inspect pocket change, coin rolls, and old collections in hopes of finding something extraordinary. And even though the chances of discovering a multi-error specimen of this magnitude are extremely low, the excitement it generates keeps the hobby alive and continuously growing, and stories like this also spread quickly through online communities and social media platforms where enthusiasts share theories, discoveries, and speculative valuations that often blend fact with imagination, creating a sense of mystery around certain coins that may or may not exist in the exact form described, but still serve as powerful symbols of potential wealth hidden in plain sight, and ultimately the 1970 penny story at the $115 million level should be understood as a combination of numismatic possibility, theoretical error stacking, and collector imagination rather than a confirmed auction result. But it still highlights an important truth in the world of coins, which is that value is not always about face value or even metal content but about rarity, demand, and uniqueness, and when those elements align in extraordinary ways even the smallest coin can become the center of attention for collectors around the world, and that is what keeps the dream alive for millions of people who continue to search, study, and hope that one day they might discover an ordinary-looking penny that turns out to be something truly extraordinary and life-changing, proving once again that in the world of numismatics the most powerful treasures are often hiding in the most unexpected places waiting for the right person to recognize their true significance.